Barry Gibb has spent a lifetime writing songs about love, heartbreak, and survival, but some of the most meaningful stories in his life were never written into lyrics. Born on September 1, 1946, on the Isle of Man, Barry grew up in a modest, close-knit family where music quickly became the heartbeat of everyday life. As the eldest of the famous Gibb brothers, he naturally stepped into the role of leader, guiding his younger siblings Robin and Maurice as they discovered their extraordinary harmony together. When the family moved to Australia in the late 1950s, the three brothers began performing seriously, unknowingly laying the foundation for what would become one of the most successful groups in music history, the Bee Gees. Even in those early days, Barry's gift for melody and storytelling stood out. Songs like Massachusetts, To Love Somebody, and New York Mining Disaster 1941 proved that he wasn't simply writing pop hits, he was capturing human emotion in a way that felt personal to millions of listeners. By the 1970s, Barry's voice and songwriting evolved into something entirely new. His now legendary falsetto transformed the Bee Gees' sound and helped define an era. When Saturday Night Fever exploded onto the global stage, songs like Stayin' Alive and Night Fever didn't just dominate the charts, they reshaped popular music. Yet behind that success, Barry quietly built another reputation as one of the industry's most gifted songwriters and producers, crafting unforgettable songs for artists like Barbra Streisand, Diana Ross, Dolly Parton, and Kenny Rogers. But fame never protected him from loss. Over the years, Barry endured the devastating deaths of his brothers Andy, Maurice, and Robin, leaving him the last surviving Bee Gee, a title that carried both honor and heartbreak. Through it all, he leaned on music, family, and the quiet wisdom of people he trusted. One of those people, Barry later admitted, was Kenny Rogers. Their relationship was never loud or flashy, but it was deeply meaningful. Barry once confessed that Kenny wasn't just another legendary singer in the business. He was someone who truly understood the cost of a long career in music. Rogers had traveled through many musical worlds, from folk to rock to country, reinventing himself again and again without ever losing his authenticity. Barry admired that deeply. He often said that when Kenny sang, people believed every word because Kenny believed it first. There was a calm steadiness about him that Barry found comforting, especially during the years when grief weighed heavily on his shoulders. After losing his brothers, Barry found himself navigating the world of fame alone for the first time, and Kenny's quiet presence became a source of unexpected strength. According to Barry, Kenny never tried to offer dramatic advice or grand speeches. Instead, he simply listened. And sometimes, Barry said, that was the greatest gift someone could offer. Kenny also shared a perspective that stayed with Barry long after their conversations ended. He once told him, "You don't outrun time, you walk with it." Those words changed the way Barry looked at aging, fame, and life itself. Instead of fighting the passing years, Barry began to embrace them, focusing less on chasing success and more on telling honest stories through his music. That lesson would influence the reflective tone of his later work, including projects like Greenfields, where he returned to the emotional roots of songwriting alongside some of country music's most respected voices. But Barry also remembers the humor that Kenny brought into every room. Rogers had a dry wit that could instantly dissolve tension, and those moments of laughter became priceless during some of the darkest chapters of Barry's life. When Kenny Rogers passed away in 2020, Barry felt the loss deeply. For him, it wasn't just the passing of a legendary performer. It was the loss of a friend who had quietly helped him stay grounded in a world that often tries to turn artists into products rather than people. Reflecting on their bond, Barry finally admitted something he rarely spoke about publicly. Kenny Rogers reminded him how to remain human in the middle of fame. In the end, Barry's confession about Kenny Rogers wasn't about secrets or controversy. It was about gratitude. He realized that behind every legend, there is often another legend offering quiet support when it matters most. For Barry Gibb, Kenny Rogers was that steady voice, someone who reminded him that music should come from truth, that time should be embraced rather than feared, and that even the biggest stars still need friendship. And for Barry, that truth may be one of the most meaningful lessons of his entire life.